Hello, all. I hope you're all doing well. We are continuing with our weekly portion review, and this week we again have a joint portion, a double portion, and these are the last two portions of the book of Leviticus, and then we'll move on to the fourth book. But in our two portions this week are Behar, which means on the mountain, right? This is the focus on the sabbatical years and the limits of debt and servitude. And then we have the portion of Bechukotai, which translates into my decrees. And this is really talking about the blessings of obeying the law and, of course, the curses if we're disobeying the law and the vows that are related to that. Today we'll focus on Behar, the first portion, while I'll link something I said last year about the second portion. Now, in the portion of Behar, we read about the laws of the sanctity of the land, like we were talking about, and specifically the commandment of Shmitat Karkaot. This means letting the land lie really unused during this sabbatical year. Now, the Shemitah of the land, right, the abandonment of the land, is unique really among the commandments, the mitzvot of the Torah, because seemingly it contradicts the Torah's very purpose, right? That there's this ultimate goal that we understand, that the Torah wants the people of Israel, right, to enter the land and dwell there, obviously, securely. We know in Kings, of course, the famous verse of every man under his vine and his fig tree. We also know that we need to work the land, like Ezekiel tells us, that the land will yield its produce and the trees will bear fruit as well. Now, we see here, though, that the Torah is commanding us to, every 7 years, we have to essentially cease working the land, right? And partially we are detaching from it. Now, the Torah is instructing us that once every 7 years, we are exiled of our land. Not physically, but in the terms of its labor, there's this exile element to it. And this strange idea is actually clarified in this single verse in our portion. In Leviticus 25:23, it says, "The land shall not be sold in perpetuity, for the land is mine. You are but strangers and sojourners with me." Right? So the Torah is really seeking to teach us that our hold on the land is not one of ownership, but really of a trustship. Right? The land doesn't really truly belong to us. It belongs to all the generations, right? To the divine presence that really is dwelling among Israel. And if the land was our private property, we then might treat it however we really saw fit, right? Even if that means surrendering parts of it for peace, if we thought that that would actually serve our interest. But since the land belongs to God, right, as it says, "For the land is mine," we may not do whatever we wish with this land. It's really not ours. It's an inheritance from Hashem, from the Master of the universe. And in truth, the human condition itself is one of a stranger and a sojourner, if you think about it. Not all the nations are aware of this, though, right? Our sages talk of the world nations, right, or the nations of the world, umot haolam, in that term of the world, right? They feel home in the world. They're born in their land, and they see this connection to it. It's natural, and it's really unquestionable. I would say, in contrast, our nation was really born outside of this land. We're born in Ur, right? Abraham has to make a decision that this is what he wants to do. And then we move on to Egypt, right, where all our people are sitting, and then we're in exile, and then we're in Europe, right? So our bond with the land is like that, really, between a husband and a wife. It's chosen. There's a moral relationship that's being developed. If we are righteous, the land is ours. But if we're not, then we're exiled from it. And this is a mature relationship with the land, not one of ownership, but one of a shared destiny. And the people of Israel really have merited to be one of the only nations in which the consciousness of being strangers is deeply rooted in their national awareness. And it's really the foundation of their history. And this unique trait, in some way, grants us a special understanding of the divine. Hashem, in a sense, is also a stranger in this world. On one hand, of course, it's his world. On another hand, he allows himself to be exiled from it, right? He retracts himself from it in order to grant the world a certain degree of autonomy. So just as God, Hashem, relates to this world as a stranger, so too are we strangers and sojourners with him, right? Close to him, and we attend his will and his wisdom. So we have to work on keeping this relationship a co-creation, a co-partnership together with him, and realize that we have a tremendous amount of responsibility being back in the land, to act in a moral way, and to really together with the land elevate it in a way that we are worthy of it. Shabbat Shalom.